Hey everyone, how are y'all doing? If you're new here, welcome. My name is Sadie, and welcome to my channel where I talk about all things cross-stitching and a little bit of sewing. I was having a little bit of a trouble with the intro because I feel like the way that I say hi, hello, seems a little weird, and it probably isn't. Whenever I hear the video after with editing, it's all fine, but sometimes my voice sounds weird to me. So hi guys, hope you guys were having a good day. I am happy that the weather is slowly warming up here, so I've been feeling more energy, wanting to go out and walk more, which has been really good. Today I'm like, we'll just get into it. I have two surprise mini FFOs. They're pretty much SAFs that I got done last week, and I'm so happy I got to show them to you today instead of just giving them as a gift automatically. They're gonna go to the person on Friday. I just wasn't gonna see them until then, so it worked out that you get to see them here. And then I've got a couple of small finishes and a good amount of whips. I got to work on a couple projects that I haven't seen in a while, so that is really fun that I got to show you. No starts, but I think I'm going to do a lot of starts like coming in May. I've been having an itch to start some new things, even though like 2 weeks ago I chatted about that anxious feeling about getting things done, but I feel like I've been meeting some goals and I just want to start stuff. So I'll talk about those in my plan section. And I got my little laptop here if you see me look, because it is going to keep me on, hopefully online, and help me remember what it is I have to show you guys. So sit tight, have something to drink. I've got my little bubbly here that I may take some sips of every once in a while. Then we'll get in. So the first two that I will show are the FFOs, and they are super cute. Ready? Aren't they adorable? These are Ghost Tea and Ghost Coffee. They're by Mama Witch Stitch. I'll try to show one at a time. I did them on I want to say it's Atomic Ranch, but it was one of those weird ones where it doesn't have a name. It was like LE and a bunch of numbers. And I'm doing this for a friend who is hoping one day that he will be able to open like his own tea shop in the area in a few years, and is just working up towards it. And he's definitely a caffeine fanatic, and so I thought, well, these are perfect little ghosts that he can start with his collection. And I think that they turned out so cute. I am so happy with them. I don't know if I'm gonna do them for myself. I like the fact that I stitched them. And Mama Witch Stitch. I'm gonna call her that. Mama Witch Stitch has a few other of these mini ghosts in a series. And I have two other ones from her that I definitely am gonna do. I have a laundry ghost. So it's a cute ghost that's like hanging on a laundry line. And there is a toilet ghost. So a ghost just sitting on a toilet. I am planning to definitely do the toilet one and just frame it and put it in my guest bathroom. And then I'll see if I do the laundry one. They're all really tiny. I don't have a formal laundry room, but it's in my garage area, but I can definitely do it and just put it there. But I think I'll definitely get the toilet one done. I don't know how soon, but I would like to put it in my guest bathroom. Yay! These frames I got at Michael's. And then, no, I got them at Joann's because they were on like super sale since they're going out of business. And they were small enough, like they're small enough to hold these. These were, I want to say 2x3, so 2 inches by 3 inches. And it just made this one. This one was pretty almost tight. I had to be very particular with how close it was going to get, but it turned out great. I put them on mat board. I didn't lace them. I glued them to the mat board. And then I put good old duct tape on the back. I don't think he's going to care. I took out the glass because it wasn't going to fit with the glass, and I thought that's okay too. So I wasn't getting super particular with them. So they're hanging out right now until I get to give them to him on Friday. So those are my ghosties. And then my two finishes are Autumn Mermaid and the March Stitch for Pride. So I'll show the March Stitch for Pride first, and then I'll go into the Autumn Mermaid. So let us pull those out. Last time I showed you guys, I was halfway through, and then I finished it like 2 days later, the March motif, which was of June Chin, excuse me, sorry. But that is it. I think it turned out pretty cool. And then under the dragon will be the April motif. So I do plan to get to work on this at the, hopefully by this weekend. So that way I am officially caught up on it. And then I might as well show it here because I did finish a portfolio that I was really happy that I got to do. I'm trying to do more sewing bags, and I'm doing it because of the bag that I have the Stitch for Pride in. But this is my portfolio with a bunch of Valentine ladies. So I'll open it up here. This is my first time working with a snap as well. So these are them. And then on the back, or on the inside, I've got the smiling lips with the little folder, and kind of like a bunch of 1920s vintage little ladies there with the zipper in the middle. So I thought this one was cute. I am trying to get more fabric that is of simple design so that it can act as a binding. And then, right, this is the bag that I have the Stitch for Pride in. So that way they both match. So these two are together. And then, excitedly, I've got my Autumn Mermaid. I was so happy that I got to get her done. So happy. I'm really glad that I got my motivation back to get them done. I am really glad with how Autumn Mermaid came out, and I am going to work on the Winter Mermaid when it's closer to fall. I'm thinking around September is when I planned it out for the year. So that way I'm hoping by December I have this one officially done. So here she is. So let me get to... Ah! She is beaded, backstitched, the full thing. I am really glad with her skin conversion. It made it so that she wasn't as gray as the original. And then I did change the face, where it gave her face a little more fill. I did do Summer's face on her. And I think they don't look identical, which is really nice. They still makes them individualized. But it doesn't make her face look as flat as the original either. So, super happy. I've currently misplaced or finished up the blue shiny Kreinik that goes around the border. So, that hasn't been completed. So, I need to go hunting for that one or buy me some new one And I would like to do that before I get started on Winter Mermaid. This is all 3. And yeah, I haven't done the corner where the jeweled beads are over here on Autumn because I need to find my blue thread. And then the words I haven't written, I just started working them out in Spanish, so that way I can stitch the seasons names in Spanish. But I have a feeling that I'm going to leave to the end. Likely when I get the Winter Mermaid done. That's when I'll be able to do those. But I am so glad I got her done. I really was afraid that I just was not gonna pick it up and finish Autumn. I thought either I was gonna skip on to Winter and then come back, or it was just gonna sit. But I'm really glad, right? It happened. Autumn got done. So in September, we'll work on the Winter one. All right. So those were my finishes. And then we'll get into some whips. So the first one, which I left over in my little TV section, is the July Fairy. So let me go grab her. Give me like 2 seconds. More like 5 seconds. We are back. I think I'm gonna be really bad. I'm not good at cutting videos and stuff out. I think I get all worried. So I'll probably have my little to be tuned TV little picture up in between there. But here she is. Oh my gosh. Essentially, she herself, the fairy, is all stitched up. All done. I'll get her close. I'm working on the border. So up top you can see some of the thread. And next steps is going to be back stitching and bead. Oh my god. I don't know how I did it in the past, but I'm going to have to do it. And sorry that my hand's been shaking a bit. So I am going to do the good old 90s type of back stitching. And then put beads on her. Her wings here do look a little shiny, which is nice. I think the blending filament really did a great job with them. The way that they had it was, I want to say, it was still 2 strands. You have 2 strands and then a blending filament. And it doesn't feel chunky at all. It feels good. So, planning to finish the border on her. And then crossing fingers, I can get the back stitching. Oh, I have been not having fun with back stitching. I think I'm thinking about Sailor Mars and all that back stitching, and it's just made me not want to think about it for other projects. But I know it's what changes it. I know it's what gives it some depth. So I'm gonna have to do it, but I just really need to pull myself together in these next 2 weeks. So that's July. And then one that I haven't shown since December, actually both of these have been a while, was Shake Senora. I got to work on it for just a morning. I went to have brunch at a coffee shop that I like to go to, and I just brought Shake Senora with me. So I still have it in the hoop, but I essentially got that edge of the light done, of the spotlight, and I started bringing the spotlight up above that railing towards where Lydia is. Really was just trying to work on some of that fill-in. And I think my goal was to try to just get all that yellow up there and try to get her completed, because that's where the most fill-in is. And then after that, it's jumping to the windows, to the motifs, to the words. But, and like her, where her foot is right here, that's black, but I'm gonna have to fill it in. Like, even though this is a really dark navy blue, I'll still have to fill it in. Even though you can see that's kind of like, that's the pattern of her skirt. That's right there, the checkered white. So yeah, I was really happy. I know I'm not a seasonal stitcher. And so if you see random pieces of Halloween, it's just because I like to work on Halloween stuff all year. There is no limit or no time of year where Halloween is not accepted in this household. Okay, so that's Shake Senora. And then the other one that's been a while is You Belong to Me by Lawn Dog Samplers. That one, I think some people know it as the Egyptian sampler. So I am really happy I got to work on some of it. Whew, last time I showed it, I had completed all of the top row and just trying to get some work on the middle part, which is a little bit on the heavy side. So this is all of it. And it is on this gorgeous fabric called Fall in Love by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. It reminds me of a deep sunset, which for me just kind of screamed a bit of like Egypt to me. I've never been, but always liked it. So really where I worked is down in the middle. So I worked on the palm tree leaves. That little birdie was there before. But those palm tree leaves. I got the trio of emus in. I think they're emus. I'm calling them emus. That was fun. I got that fish in. And then I just worked on that little piece to extend the border down. But it was something. I was happy I got to put something in. I just like it. I like looking at this. The thread I'm using is Weeks Dye Works Kohl. So Kohl. And it is mostly shades of gray, dark gray. And it does variegate, which is nice. Like from far away, it mostly looks like a solid color. It's not until you get up close. I am trying to not fussy cut it, but let the colors flow a little better. I'm kind of feeling a bit like I noticed some of the difference in the variegation where like that eagle, like it's really big, but it kind of goes horizontal. And then that big bird, I think it's a vulture, is vertical. And at first I didn't think it was going to bother me, but it's kind of bothering me. Am I going to redo it? No. I'm going to leave it right there. That's going to be the charm of this thing, but I see it. So we'll see how the other ones work. I'm going to try to be a little more cognizant of how I do my stitches for the variegation. But I am super happy that I got to get some work on it. So that is You Belong to Me. Okay. Oop, I'm getting a scratchy eye. Alright. So no stars except for the little ghosties. And then I got a little bit of haul with plans to definitely use them within the next 2 months. Especially because some of them are gifts. I can go through that. Because then I've got kind of like a sad UFO. It'll be my first UFO. But I think it's the right thing to do. I'll talk about that. First off, we'll talk about haul. That sounds a little happier. So, The first one, I went to my LNS after like 3 weeks of not going. And I got a couple of fabrics. This one is a Mystic Gray by Lakeside Stitches, which I've never worked with Lakeside Stitches before. And it's kind of like a bluish gray. And this is for a stitch for a friend's partner who he said that she loves Mothman. And I know that I'm gonna do like Mothman from Flossie Fox Shop. I'm gonna do the cryptids there for her as well, but specifically with Mothman, there was one that I found by Hexed Stitch, and it is big, creepy, but like a creepy cute. And I immediately saw it and said yes, because I asked him. I was like, she looks like she likes macabre, creepy, but does cute? And he goes, yeah, she does all of that. So if I thought it's cute, then she'll like it too. So I'm gonna work on that. It's very monotone. Hopefully I'll have the picture up here. But it's like all those grays, and I'm contemplating if I want to use a variegated gray for part of it. I think that would be cool for like the cape, but we'll see. I can always go back to my LNS to see if there's anything that catches my eye there. And then the other one that I got, which was in the scrap pile, but I thought this is the perfect size for what I want to do, is a 28 count Lugana Weathered Stone by Atomic Ranch. And this is what it looks like. It's on the whitish creamy side with some modeling. And the modeling is on the verge of a very light greenish blue. But you could barely tell that it really is that. It's just there. And this I thought would be great. These are gifts for some friends as well. And I'm going to stitch 2 of them. Like, goodness gracious, think about me for those. The endorphin pattern that came out with the Nash Dash. When I saw it, I immediately thought of these people and I said, oh yeah, they're going to love it. So I'll likely make it into that ornament style that it has. So I will do that. And then I'll see if it fits, because it's small enough that I should be able to have enough border to add something on the other side. And that's going to be for another ornament. Still thinking about that. But definitely those 2 endorphin ornaments are going to go on this piece. So these pieces already have projects lined up for them. Can't wait to stitch them. And then the UFO. So the UFO that I am gonna do is the black water sirens. Why? Well, thankfully I didn't get much on it. I'll show it here. But Drin came out with the last part of the Black's Water Sirens, and I think more than one person was surprised that that was the last part, because it essentially, give me a second, it essentially left the whole middle rock unstitched. Granted, some of us, I think, were nervous about it, as in we were just like getting ourselves amped up and ready, because whenever you saw the mock-up, it showed everything shaded. And normally when people do mystery styles, from what I've seen, whenever there's a shaded part in the project, that usually means that's an area that's stitched. I could be wrong. There could be people that don't do it that way. But that's what I thought, and I saw that some other people thought that too. But when he came out with this final part, it was the head of the final mermaid that is on the back of the rock, but the whole rock in the middle is empty. So essentially the color of the rock is the color of your fabric. And I think if you went with the called for fabric, you could swing it. But I'm just saying, there are a lot of projects that I see people doing with the fabric that they chose, and it is going to take a lot of imagination to think of that as a finished project in the middle. So I saw that there were some people that were asking Dren if it was possible at all for him to be able to essentially create the rock, like a stitched up version of that whole rock. And I don't know if he'd do it. I mean, if in his mind he originally just saw the fabric as the rock and the women and like the mermaids, the sirens around, then he could stick with that plan. It just, I feel for those people. And I mean, sure, I'm kind of frustrated too that I assumed I was going to stitch a rock and it's just going to look empty. So when I saw that last one, I mean, it's a really big piece. I thought to myself, am I going to be happy? No, I'm not going to be happy. Because I wasn't happy when I saw it. When I saw the last part, I just went, is this it? They're beautiful, but I want that space filled. I expected that space to be filled. So I don't know if one day I'll stitch them again, but being a little bit more conscious and maybe making them as 4 separate pieces, kind of making them work with a border where it looks like they can be their own piece and not have to depend on that big rock. Because they are cute. They're both really like individualized. And Dren put detail, like a lot of detail into them. So it'd be a shame to not be able to stitch them. I just don't think I'd be able to stitch them without the rock. So, you know, I may give it a couple of weeks because I haven't seen that he responded to that or anyone did. And again, he's the artist, the designer, the creator. He has every right to do whatever he wants. Like, he can choose to not do it. I wouldn't blame him to not design a whole rock. But if a design is not done, then I will definitely be taking out the stitches here. Because this fabric is beautiful. Like, I love the fabric. It's just, I think it can be used for something else. It's really big. So, I'll show you what I had done. Right, so I got number 1, the treasure chest. And then I got a decent amount of the top of the other mermaid. But that's all I did. Like, definitely not as much as some other people, right? And this is a lot of fabric. This is a fat half. And it is a gorgeous piece of fabric that I looked at and I went, I can put a good couple mermaids on here. Or whatever. So, that's my plan with it. I never thought that I would have to UFO something, but I think for my peace of mind, right, for my peace of mind and knowing that there's just other projects out there that I'd rather stitch, that I see the end product and it looks great, that's what I'm gonna go for. So yeah, that is my plan for this one. I will likely put it away at some point. At this point, I'll keep it in the bag until I'm ready to pluck the stitches out or do what I need to do with it. Alright, how do we get past this situation? I'm trying to think, like, on the positive note. On a positive note, we can move on with plans. So for plans, I feel like I've got a decent amount of plans because the next time that I see you will be the first week of May. And that is Mermaid and Miramaid, but definitely Mermaid, which I am so excited about. That's like where I am planning to do some starts. Definitely some starts. So first, for end of April, I reached my goal in April to finish Autumn Mermaid, which was awesome. The other goal that I had for April is to finish the July Fairy. So I'm really close to that. I'm going to work on finishing her up. I've got 2 weeks, so we will get her done. And then I also wanted to get, I'm looking over the side, the Stitch for Pride April motif done. That should be pretty easy. It doesn't look like a difficult one. So we'll get that done to be cut up. And then, oh yes. And then a couple of starts that I mentioned that I would start before, and I haven't yet. One is that Morel Cinema Mushroom Frogs. They will get done because I want to turn all those frogs into pillows. I just need to start it. But I've been working on other things, and I've been having fun working on them. But Morels need to be started. So I gotta find time to at least start putting the stitch in there. And then start Venus. I need to start Venus. That next Sailor Princess has got to get going. So those are my end of April plans. Did I miss any? I put a maybe of starting Morning Musings by Lindy Stitches. I have it like it's right in front of me. So, right, it's this beautiful piece that she did for the Nash Stash. And this is the fabric to go with it. Like, how are they not cute together? It is going to be so bright. So bright. I'm curious if I have to, I don't think I have to change the colors for it to pop. I think it's going to pop. I'm really excited about this one. I think Ronnie in Australia mentioned that it was Fox and Rabbit. And there's plenty, I think there's plenty of fabric there. So that could be a potential one too that I'd start. There's also, I see some waste canvas I have out here on the table. There were a couple of little projects that I saw online. I found out, guys, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. I think it's okay to say this because I'm not making any money out of it. And the person is probably already making money. But if you have Kindle Unlimited, did you know that you can look on the Kindle from the Amazon place for cross-stitch magazines? Guys, just cross-stitch, like that seasonal one that people love, is on Kindle Unlimited. Like, if you didn't know, the one where Sprouting Lupine has her seasonal stitching in, it is in Kindle Unlimited that you can download and see all the patterns. And some of those other books, like the Magical Cross Stitch, the Creepy Cross Stitch, you could download the book and see the patterns. I'm just saying. That was an amazing discovery that I made. And there's a bunch of other ones. So in there was one where it was a bunch of cute little Disney ones. And it was little tiny, like chibi Inside Out characters. I found myself a pastel rainbow shirt. And it's striped. And on one of the stripes, I planned to just like stitch 5 of them because I thought that was the cutest thing. I was gonna cry. And so who knows, you may start seeing some pictures, or I'll bring in some clothing that I'm gonna have stitched a motif on that I saw, because those are just super cool and cute to find. So that was exciting. That was an exciting discovery that I made. And then, in May, in May, I had a couple thoughts because I'm dying to start stuff. And I have plenty of stuff kitted up that I can do. I was thinking of doing like 7 days of mermaids. And then 7 days of mirrors. 7 days of mermaids. 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 7 days of mirrors. 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 7 days of mirr I would definitely be overwhelmed by the end of the year with having so many of those projects. I wasn't thinking of all 7 days to be, to just be starts. They're gonna be a mixture of starts and whips. For the Mermaid at least, I was thinking of starting Periwinkle Mermaid. That is the full-on kit that I got from Kat from Whittier Stitches that I won at the raffle at the Queen City Stitch Retreat. I talked about it in my video at that time, but I'll put a picture. Very beautiful mermaid, and she put everything that you need for that project in that bag. So that one I knew that I was going to start in May. That will be a start for sure. And then definitely want to work on my current mermaid whips, which would be Beauty and the Beast. It will not be the seasonal mermaids. That one is going to be for fall. It would be the Mermaids of the Deep by Mirabilia that I've got a pitiful start to. So that'll be good to put some stitches into them. I know I'm missing a couple. I think I'm missing another one. And then starts, I was thinking of starting Perfume Mermaid. I've got fabric for her from Mirabilia. I'm gonna do that. And then Deep Queen of the Sea, or Dark Queen of the Sea by Autumn Lane Stitchery. I have the fabric, got the beads. I'm ready to go with her. Goodness gracious, and there is another one. It'll be a surprise. You'll see at next video what my official plans will be for that. Same thing with the mirrors. This is going to be a great month. Alright guys, so I hope you guys have a great night. Thanks for hearing me out and looking at all the stitchy goodness that I got to complete. And hopefully I have worked on more items for you. Oh, I forgot. That's what it was. Okay, the other plan that I was thinking of doing, because I've been watching like a decent amount of people on Flosstube who do temperature stitching. But I was thinking of doing that with Stone Roses and You Belong to Me, because those were two that I want to get done by this year. And my original plan of just trying to pull them out and putting like 300, 3,000 stitches a month is not happening. So I was thinking maybe temperature stitching would help. I can look every 2 weeks and it would, give me a second guys. I can look every 2 weeks at the temperature and log them ahead of time, because I know I wouldn't be able to do weekly. Like guys, I just am not that good at keeping myself on a schedule. So I can do it every 2 weeks, figure out, I think I did odd numbers as Stone Roses and even numbers as You Belong to Me. For that last number in the weather, right? Like 76, I just look at the 6, or 52, look at the 2. And then I looked at the highest number for those 2 weeks. And then I just counted, like, it turned out pretty even, I think, for the next 2 weeks. Like this first week, it was 3 odds, 4 evens, and the next week is 4 odds and 3 evens. And I wanted to do 200 stitches per number. So, which is not bad. So to say that in a week I get 600 stitches or 800 stitches in 7 days is very doable for me. So we'll see if I stick with that. You'll find out in the next video. But okay guys, thanks for being here. I hope you guys have a good rest of your April and that you're seeing flowers bloom, and I don't know, let me know if you guys are starting to plant stuff. I'm trying to see if some onions will grow. We'll see what happens. Alright guys, bye.